Hey everyone, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Pokemon Red with only one Mewtwo was way more interesting than it had any right to be considering it was such a strong Pokemon, but Gen 1 is always a little bit weird. Let's follow that up with his arch nemesis. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Gold with a team of only one Cubone. Also, I've been really sick for like 2 straight weeks. I'm a coughing, sniffling mess, and I'm gonna try my absolute best to edit around that, but I can't delay this voiceover any longer. Sorry if I sound really rough. Well, first of all, if you don't know why Cubone is Mewtwo's arch nemesis, then you gotta go check out my Pokemon Stadium Let's Play from like 6 or so years ago. You'll love it. It's my most popular Let's Play I've ever done on release, and I've done hundreds. Anyway, this is not gonna be easy. We have a lot of defense, but other than that, it's even but low stats with especially low speed. I would way rather have high attack than high defense in a solo run. By level up, we have quite a few moves that I like. Bone Club is just okay, but it can get flinches, so that's nice. Bone Meringue is a double hit ground move that has an effective power of 100, same as Earthquake. You could argue it's a little better since 2 hits means a higher chance of critting, although it can miss. Still, this is just a ground-type Gear Grind, and Gear Grind was a move that saved us in the Clink challenge, so I could see this being very strong. Other than that, our moveset by level up is a little bit bland. By TM, we can learn a few great moves like Rock Slide and Earthquake, but Ice Beam is the one that I'm really interested in. The Pokemon Champion has all flying types. We're gonna need Ice Beam if we're gonna do any serious damage to him and his team. Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. I'm iffy on if I can beat Lance, but if I can, then I think I actually stand a chance against Red if I get the Thick Club. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Cubone. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of combat are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. I can immediately not breathe through my nose at all. I'm gonna just try and talk through the mask of my mouth as much as I can, so that I don't sound too nasally. I'll just be gasping for air a lot. What else is new, right? So, right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Cyndaquil with Cubone so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Cyndaquil so that our rival would have Feraligatr, probably the hardest for us to fight. I name him Kratos, like last time. Our nature is Naughty for more attack and less special defense. This is legit the best nature we could have gotten, if you ask me. Also, I looked at our stats in the IV calculator. Our attack IVs are in the upper half, our defense is somewhere in the top 2/3, our health and special attack are good, and our special defense could literally be anything, but our speed is for sure very low. Look, I could see the low speed biting us, but I'm just happy that after so many restarts, I finally got a Cubone with 12 attack, since it's the highest he can start with. Now, I really wish I didn't have the ability Lightning Rod, because it's totally useless for us in this run, and his other ability would have given us immunity to recoil damage, so we could spam Double Edge for great damage. But Bone Meringue will still be stronger anyway, so I guess it's gonna be fine. I'm just thankful that we have a lot of attack. Hey, real quick warning, I'm gonna have a lot of really fast-moving stuff on screen in a minute. I'm gonna make it really small and put it in the corner so you don't have to stare right at it. But I know that you guys also like to see how much I had to do, so it's gotta be there somewhere. I hate that I even have to explain this, but if I don't, people are gonna ask me for the rest of time. Ask me how I know that. Now right away, I'm sure you noticed it, we have no attacking moves. This is really annoying, but not the end of the world, we've been here before. There are Metapods not super far from the start of the game, so I have to run all the way over there, and waste all of our power points, and then beat them with struggle until we can level up twice to learn Bone Club. Does it take forever? Absolutely it does, but there's no way around this. There's only a 15% chance of finding Metapod, and because they're gonna run out of power points too, I have to find one, use 30 power points, then find another one, use another 30 power points, then find a third one and use the last 10 power points. Then I have to run away and find yet another one because if I try struggling against one that has buffed defense, then for some reason we take more damage than he does, and we just faint. I guess struggle in this game doesn't take into account how much damage we're doing, it takes into account how much damage we would be doing if not for defense buffs, maybe. But if I have literally any damage at all when I get to that last Metapod, I'll faint because the Pidgeys are way more common than Metapod, and often keep us from running away. We'll get hit just once, and that'll be enough to faint to a Metapod. After I learned that, I sometimes fought a Caterpie just because I could win with a bit of damage. There was one point where I got too hurt and had to give up on running out of power points and had to go heal early due to Pidgeys 5 times in a row. And the once in a blue moon that I made something faint, I have to go right back to the Poke Center. Eventually, I just started turning all my cash into potions to get my health up between fights so that I didn't have to run out of power points quite as often. We have enough health that we can make literally one thing faint sometimes. Sometimes the Pidgeys just make us faint regardless. This only took 15 minutes, but I swear, it was the slowest and most frustrating 15 minutes of my life. But that's just the start of the early game grind. That was just to get the first 2 levels so that we have an attack. There's plenty more where that came from, because now I have to do effort value grinding. This is all with turbo speed turned on, obviously. This would take hours without it. Now I'm not gonna try and get every perfect stat, just the attack stat. I really needed to be at 255 though. You've probably seen enough sped up footage of me EV grinding from the Shedinja runs right now, right? It's probably fine if I play this, less of it and slower. Man, I hope so, because my computer hates rendering out the super fast footage of the really long EV grind sessions, but I also know that it shows off how long it takes for stuff like this, and some of you really like that. You're really vocal about it. Anyway, normally I wouldn't bother effort value grinding in a run like this, but I actually think that I could stand a chance at the end of the run if I do. See, Cubones in this game have a 5% chance of holding a thick club. It's an item that doubles the attack of a Cubone. The problem is that we can't catch any wild Cubones until we get to Kanto, so the thick club can only help us in the post-game. But if we have enough attack after we get our hands on it, then we can potentially beat Blue, and yeah, it would be cool if we can beat Red as well, but the most important thing is fighting Mewtwo. Bulbapedia tells me that I can get Mewtwo once I get all the Kanto gym badges, so all I need to do is beat Blue. I had to change my system clock to do all of this, by the way, because it's 3:30 in the morning. I'm up late working like usual, sick as a dog, and most of the Pokemon I need to fight here just aren't around at night. Look, when you can't breathe while you're sick, you can't sleep, you may as well be working. Anyway, here's our stats after the effort value grind for attack EVs. After punching this into our calculator, our attack IV is between 17 and 23. I don't know how that makes any sense, because it was telling me before that I was at least 20 or above. But this is probably going to be a problem, because we really do need a ton of attack if we're going to stand a chance in this run. Also, I don't know our exact IVs for any other stat, but it looks like our speed and special defense are probably both really bad as well. Like, our speed IV is probably between 0 and 4 out of 31, so despite being pretty high attack Cubone overall, we're incredibly slow, and still have much lower attack than we could if we had more IVs. I'm really iffy on our chances to win this run, but it's way too late to invest in a new Cubone now after all of that. Let's go take out that flying gym. And with that said, I need to take a break from this voiceover. Whew. Maybe I'll pick it up later today, maybe I'll just pick it up tomorrow. I'm cutting out just coughing fits in between every couple lines, and I can't breathe. Okay, it's been like 4 or 5 hours, I'm gonna try the voiceover again. I have an insane story to tell you about this sickness at the end of the video, trust me. You won't possibly be able to guess what it is, just wait and see. Man, even after all that grinding, we almost fainted in the flying gym. Pidgey was a one-shot, but Pidgeotto hit hard and kept healing up with Roost. I used Leer at one point and it softened him up enough, but his critical gust almost made us faint by the end. Okay, now that we're making some progress, let's talk about the next few major fights. I figure that the Bug Gym should be easy to overpower with Headbutt, but I'm not sure what we're doing after that. We have a rival fight, and that's gonna have Ghastly. It's got Levitate, so no ground moves, and it's a Ghost, so no normal moves. I guess I'm gonna have to get the TM for Rock Tomb and Union Cave if I'm gonna win that fight. Even then, Croconaw could be a real issue. At least I think that the normal gym after is gonna be pretty easy. I'm gonna need to do a bunch of Voltorb flip to get Ice Beam and the Wide Lens while I'm in town, but I'm sure you guys don't need to watch that. Let's get those fights done. Alright, first is the Bug Gym, and it was really easy. Rock Tomb is double super effective against Scyther, and the rest of her team is just Kakuna and Metapod, so the only real threat fainted right at the start of the fight. After that is our rival. I actually lost the first try thanks to Curse, but on the second try, Ghastly used Mean Look instead. It's funny, his water type was the least threatening part of his team, It was actually the Zubat at the end who got us to hit ourselves several times in a row after confusing us that almost made us faint. You know, in retrospect, maybe Bayleaf would have been harder to fight here. It's hard to say, though. Bonemerang would be weaker against Bayleaf, but then again, it's just not a very strong Pokemon, and might have fainted in a couple of headbutts anyway. Alright, after an unreal amount of Voltorb flip, I picked up a bunch of nice TMs and held items. One that I saw in there was Swords Dance, which I forgot I could learn, so I used it twice and then swept Whitney's normal gym with Bonemerang pretty easily. Is this going to be enough for the rival fight in the Ghost Gym, though? I feel like our terrible speed is going to make the Ghost Gym a particularly rough one. So the rival fight took quite a few tries because of the Ghastly at the start. It always uses Curse, Confuse Ray, or Mean Look. Curse is an instant restart because it's going to do too much damage, and Confuse Ray often ruins us. Normally we lose this because Ghastly takes 2 hits and we can't make it faint before it uses Curse, but on this try we crit and one-shot it. Croconaw was really weird though. So I hit myself in confusion on the first turn, and couldn't one-shot him on the second turn. And none of that mattered because despite already being slower than him, he spent the entire fight spamming Scary Face to lower our already terrible speed. You would think that maybe that's him trying to set up for something else on his team, but the entire rest of his team was just a Zubat who did like 5 damage to us, and a Magnemite who probably couldn't even hit us. He had a water type. Why didn't he just use a water move? He probably could have done a ton of damage to us on those 3 turns that he wasted. Alright, I knew the Ghost Gym was going to be hard, because I had to grind just to get through the trainers. Ghastly at the start used Lick for a little damage and went down in 1 Rock Tomb, but usually it just gets us with Curse. Second is Gengar, and he actually wasn't doing much damage to us, and Rock Tomb was doing great. But he can put us to sleep, so he's pretty annoying. Haunter came out, put us to sleep, and used Nightmare to do some damage, then Dream Eater to almost knock us out. We woke up and finished him off. But last is another Haunter, and he just finished us off with Nightshade. This is with me holding a metronome so that we can build up our power on our Rock Tomb each time we use it in a row, by the way. I need to level up for sure. So I clear at the lighthouse and come back, and in some ways the fight is harder. For some reason his Gengar keeps using Shadow Ball now, and it does crazy damage. Even when we take him out, that first Haunter still just puts us to sleep and hits Dream Eater for huge damage. I wish I had a chance to use Swords Dance, but with us already being slower than his whole team, I don't know if it's worth it. I can't give him more chances to put us to sleep or curse us. I'll get a few levels, then maybe 1 Swords Dance would be enough to get some one-shots. Hey, a few levels later and this went great. I was faster than Ghastly, so I decided to use 2 Swords Dances, and for some reason he just never cursed us. Because of that, we had a pretty easy time just one-shotting his whole team. The first Haunter put us to sleep and did a lot of damage, like usual, but we never missed a Rock Tomb, so it went well. Alright, we're finally past that roadblock. I feel pretty good about this next chunk of the run. I don't think that the Fighting Gym is going to be very hard, although Poliwhirl might end up being rough with Surf if we're slower than him. The Steel Gym is probably going to be really easy, and the Ice Gym might be easy too as long as we're faster than them. Hey, now that we have Surf and Strength, I can go get the King's Rock from the Slowpoke well. Bulbapedia tells me that our Bonemerang will count as 2 separate chances to activate the King's Rock, meaning that it's a double chance to flinch. A Metronome is a reliable 10% more damage per attack in a row, and the King's Rock, if I'm using Bonemerang, is a 1 in 5 chance every turn that I make them flinch, and then I get to do a whole extra attack. I could see either one saving us in different fights, just depending on the circumstance. Now that we have Swords Dance and Bonemerang with a good item, I feel like the only thing that's really holding us back is our low speed. First is the Fighting Gym, and Primeape is just spamming double team, so I use 1 Swords Dance and take him out with a Bonemerang. Second is Poliwhirl, who hits a big Surf. Then I watched as the first hit of Bonemerang took him to below half health, he ate a berry, then just hardly got taken out by the second hit. It was so close. I think he'd have survived with a sliver if not for how I still have that Metronome equipped right now. Next is the Steel Gym, and this is crazy easy. Starts with Magnemite, and it can hardly do anything to us. I use 3 Swords Dances and then sweep the whole gym. Probably only needed to use 1, though. Alright, next is the Ice Gym, and although it's not hard, it took 13 tries to get a win. I know that sounds hard, but it really wasn't crazy. I needed to experiment a lot to see if I need Swords Dance, and the answer is, I just need 1. But I need to also never miss. I also need Dugong at the start to use Hail, not Icy Wind, like he usually does. So in the end it took a little over a dozen tries, but as soon as he used Hail and we didn't miss Bone Meringue at the end, we got a win. After that is our rival, and this is kind of a tough one. Right away I used Swords Dance once as Golbat did a bit of damage to us and confused us. We one-shot him, and next is Feraligatr. We snapped out of confusion right away, but we missed Bone Meringue, so we took a lot of damage from Water Gun before we took him out on the next round. Sneasel hit a very weak quick attack before getting one-shot, and after that is Haunter. It ended up cursing us as we took it out though, so we're in danger. Thankfully, last is Magnemite and we didn't miss. So it went down on the turn that we would have fainted from curse damage. That was way too close. Well, we won the last few fights, but some of them were pretty close or took a lot of tries. Makes me worried about the Dragon Gym. It's got a Water Onyx, so I know I need to use Swords Dance to get my attack back, but he's also fast and hits hard with water moves, so I don't really want to give him extra chances to hit us. And our best Pokemon is a Kingdra, another water type. I'm sure I could bulldoze them with Bone Meringue with just a few Swords Dances, but how am I going to survive long enough to build up that kind of attack? I'm not sure. I'll probably have to mess around and see what I can do once I get there, but I really don't think this is going to be easy. Then there's the last fight, and considering how hard this one was, that might be pretty rough too. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I get to the fight and test it out a little bit. We need a Swords Dance at the start, and then we're doing pretty good damage, but we often don't get past Water Onyx. When we do, we always get taken out in one hit by Kingdra right after. I don't expect to be faster than it for a long while. I do think that I could get a one-shot on Water Onyx with only one Swords Dance in a few levels though, so that might be the way to go. Maybe I'll switch to the Wide Lens to help make sure that Rock Tomb lands a hit. Alright, few levels later, and this fight rocks. We use one Swords Dance, then one-shot Water Onyx after he makes us lose over half of our health to some Dragon Rages. Second is Kingdra, who usually finishes us off, but he missed a Hydro Pump. And check it out, Bone Meringue makes him eat a berry, and it looked like it wasn't going to do enough damage on the second hit for the knockout, but it was actually just hardly enough. Next is a Dragonair who hits Dragon Pulse, so we have almost no health left before we one-shot her. I just assumed that we would lose when the next one came out, but he went for Slam, missed, and we took her out. That was amazing. Slam really is a terrible move, isn't it? It misses all the time, and it's just not strong enough to make that kind of gamble worth it. Well, there's a rival fight between us and the Elite Four, and it goes horrible. Sneasel is easy, but Feraligatr always does crazy damage to us with Waterfall. Then we take it out and just lose to Haunter. Yeah, he crit there, but he doesn't need to crit to ruin this fight for us. I can't get over how slow we are. We're a slow Pokemon with incredibly low speed IVs, and it's really holding us back. Quick Claw wouldn't even help us that much since it's not just one Pokemon that we're slower than, but it's just about every Pokemon. I'm gonna level up until we're tanky enough to survive, or fast enough to get some much needed one-shots before they hit us. Alright, so I come back 5 levels later and try a few more times. Sneasel is always easy, and sometimes Feraligatr uses Slash, but this time he used Waterfall again, and it just didn't do all that much damage, so we took him out. Haunter confused us like usual, but we didn't hit ourselves a bunch, and instead we got a one-shot with Rock Tomb. Kadabra set up Reflect, but our Bone Meringue is so strong that we took him out anyway. As Golbat came out, I decided to use Ice Beam to get around Reflect, and although it did a ton of damage, it wasn't a one-shot, so he got 2 hits in on us, so we have really low health. Thankfully, last is Magneton, who we just one-shot. It was close, and our health is terrible, but it's a win. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. Well, our speed and our special defense are absolutely horrible, and our attack and defense are just good, so I don't really feel great about this one. We're about to fight several trainers with very good special attacks, including some water ones, so it wouldn't surprise me if I need to level up a ton before I could win this. I could see Will being kinda difficult since most of his team is gonna be faster than us, and he's gonna have some chances to deal some real damage. Koga looks like he'll be easy, and I'm not really all that worried about Bruno either, but Karen, I'm not really sure. We've had problems with ghosts before, and just like with Will, I could see some of these Pokemon being a real problem due to being faster than us. Lance is a real threat though. Bone Meringue doesn't hit a single member of his team, so it's all up to Ice Beam and Rock Tomb. I'm not sure if I want to use Metronome to build up Ice Beam or Wide Lens to help Rock Tomb hit, but I'll probably experiment a lot and level a lot before I can win that fight. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Psychic Trainer Will. Right away, Zetu wastes his turn with me first when I was using Swords Dance. Then he U-turned into Jinx, giving us a free knockout on it with Rock Tomb. That was an amazingly bad start for him. Slowbro is second, but we just easily outspeed him and one-shot him with Bone Meringue. And next is his initial Xatu coming back in. He used me first again to get us with Rock Tomb, so we lost speed, but then we one-shot him. Executor set up Reflect as I hit Rock Tomb, so I switched to Ice Beam to take him out. And last is his final Xatu, who actually nearly took us out with 2 Psychics before we finished him off. We had only 11 health after that last hit, that was way too close. Second is Poison Trainer Koga. This was as easy as expected, but we still found a way to almost faint when Psychic crit us, dealing a ton of damage. We keep having really close calls this run, but so far, we're still making progress. Third is Fighting Trainer Bruno. Right away, Hitmontop does almost nothing, so I built up 3 Swords Dances and took him out. Problem is, Hitmonchan's next, and he's faster than us, so we're down to half health due to his Ice Punch by the time he faints. Hitmonlee goes the same way, with him nearly making us faint before he goes down, but thankfully, Machamp is slower than us, so we can just one-shot him. Last is Onix, but he's another one-shot. We just hardly keep skimming by with a little bit of health left. Fourth is Dark Trainer Karen. Right away, Umbreon just spams Double Team, and sometimes hits weak Feint Attack, so it's always easy to take down with 1 Swords Dance and a Bone Meringue. Vileplume is a one-shot with Bone Meringue. Gengar is super dangerous, doing tons of damage with Focus Blast, and taking more than 1 Rock Tomb to take out. But thanks to a miss, we survived. It didn't matter though, because Houndoom was faster than us and easily took us out with Flamethrower. I don't see any way to beat him without being stronger and faster. I also hate to ditch the wide lens because it makes Bone Meringue really reliable, but the occasional speed advantage of a Quick Claw would probably help us a lot in this fight. So I try a few times at level 72. Normally we still just feint a Flamethrower, but for some reason on this try he used Nasty Plot instead, giving us a free hit to obviously knock him out. I can only assume he calculates the damage and saw the Flamethrower would have left me with like a sliver or something, but his weird choice meant that we could easily take out his Murkrow right after. It's a weird fight. I don't feel good at all about this upcoming Lance fight though. Finally, Pokemon Champion Lance. First is Water Onix, and thanks to his Intimidate lowering our attack, we can't get a one-shot with Rock Tomb after Swords Dance. That means he gets to hang on longer with full restores and add a lot of randomness to the fight, because I might miss those extra Rock Tombs. It doesn't really matter though, he does a ton of damage with 2 Waterfalls, then we easily get outsped and taken out by the first Dragonite. I can't afford to be slower than his whole team, so you'd think Quick Claw might help, but we also can't afford for Rock Tomb to be inaccurate if it's our best move for half his team. I think I have to go with the wide lens and just level up until we're faster or something, or so tanky that we can survive anyway. I got all the way to level 80 and tried a bunch of times with Quick Claw, even with the really good luck of it saving us a hit in the Water Onix fight leading us to surviving Blizzard, and even with it saving us against that second Dragonite that came out, the moment Charizard showed up, we fainted. It's just a really hard fight. We're relying on a move that misses a lot and a held item that infrequently kicks in. If we could just get faster than some of these Pokemon without the Quick Claw, then we'd really be able to do some damage. Alright, level 85 and this one's wild. Water Onix goes about the same as usual, although because we take 2 hits, we have less health than we did the last time Quick Claw saved us. The first Dragonite ends up missing his Blizzard, so we one-shot him. Then we outsped and one-shot the second and third ones, getting us to Charizard with about the same health as usual. But this time he used Air Slash, just hardly leaving us alive to finish him off with Rock Tomb. But our health is so low. Last is Aerodactyl and he's obviously faster, but somehow, his Aerial Ace left us with exactly 2 health, we landed our Rock Tomb, and he fainted. In a run full of battles where we survived with only a sliver, we won the Pokemon Champion fight with 2 health left. With that victory, we get into the Hall of Fame and win the run, but you know it's not over yet. Heart Gold has all of Kanto in the post-game, including 8 gym battles and a secret final boss fight with Red. 7 of those 8 gym battles are super easy since they're weaker than the Elite Four, so we're going to skip ahead to the next real challenge, Blue. I made sure to catch a bunch of Cubones and Rock Tunnel on my way so that I could get my hands on a thick club. It's a held item that's going to double our attack. By a bunch, I mean like 7 or 8 bunches. I don't know, how much do you consider a bunch to be? Because despite having a 5% chance of getting a thick club, I had to catch 72 of them before I actually got one. What's the average amount I'm supposed to catch to get these, like 20? It took forever, but I just know that this thing is gonna make us a beast. Remember, if we can beat Blue, then we can fight our arch nemesis, Mewtwo. Wish me luck. Well, I got to Blue at level 90, and although we got a Swords Dance in, we got one shot by Leaf Storm. Oh, that's not good. Look, I'm just gonna get 5 levels real quick and see if we survive it, because I don't like the idea of just using Ice Beam and hoping for a freeze. Level 95 and it goes the same. Alright, Ice Beam it is. No way this is a one-shot though. Well, you know what? Next try, an Ice Beam is incredibly close to being a one-shot. I mean, if we're that close, then I guess I'm just gonna hit level 100 and keep trying. Alright, level 100, and now we can one-shot Exeggutor, so we're back in the game. Second is Water Onix, so our attack is down from Intimidate, but thanks to our handy Thick Club, we can still just one-shot him with Rock Tomb. Who'd have thought that I'd get so much use out of Rock Tomb this run? This is in the old games when it kinda sucks too. I guess I probably should replace it with Rock Slide soon. Anyway, Pidgeot is next, and he mirror moves nothing, so we one-shot him as well. After that is Arcanine, who's faster than us and dropped our attack yet again, but his Flare Blitz didn't hurt much, and our Bone Meringue is pretty strong, so he went down in one hit. Rhydon is also just a one-shot, and last is Machamp, who once again is a one-shot. Even with 2 attack drops, we're hitting hard. Hey, I guess this means we can go to Cerulean Cave. It's time for the real challenge, beating Mewtwo. Pause now, make your guesses on if we can do it or not. So we get there, he outspeeds us and does almost no damage with Psycho Cut, then we one-shot him with Bone Meringue. Huh. I kinda thought that it would have been more interesting. I guess we go lose to Red now? Well, I took a couple tries at Red. On this one, Pikachu misses Iron Tail and obviously gets one-shot, so we went into the Lapras fight with as much health as possible, and then it one-shot us with Blizzard before we could do anything. It's always hailing here, so Blizzard has 100 accuracy. Considering he's got 2 other Pokemon with Blizzard, I think that's the end of the road for this Cubone. That was fun! I didn't get to beat Red, but I pretty much never get to beat Red anyway. I'm just happy that I was able to do something a little extra with fighting Mewtwo. Yeah, the fight was underwhelming, but it was still fun to do. Guess I should have seen it coming that it was gonna be easy, considering, you know, we are Cubone, the best hard counter to Mewtwo that has ever existed. I really hope you guys like that run. The next challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual with Pokemon Fire Red with only Rock-type Pokemon. It's gonna be a hard one. Rock is just a terrible type for a lot of major fights in Kanto. When you look at the choices I have and then you look at who the Elite Four is in that game, you know it's gonna be rough. Should be fun though. As always, I'm looking at your suggestions in the comments, in the Challenge Quest section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Outro time, believe it or not, I got this whole voiceover done in the same day. I'm still kind of a mess right now. I've been editing out some coughing and everything, but I've gotten a little bit better as the day's gone on. Took some like anti-cold pill stuff. It did a good job of clearing up some of the congestion. I told you I got a crazy story to tell you, right? So I've been sick for maybe a little bit more than 2 weeks now. And for some of last week, when I was kind of in the early stages of the sickness, it was absolutely rocking me. It's a good thing that I was kind of ahead on my challenges at the time, because I was not good for a few days to do anything. Full body chills, sniffling, coughing mess. Like I couldn't focus at all. I couldn't keep food down. It was really brutal. There was a point, it's just mind-blowing. Like I got so many stories from that time, but like to keep it short, because I gotta get editing this and I gotta get off the mic because all the coughing fits. There was one time during that whole thing where like, okay, you already know I sound nasally half the time I do these voiceovers, right? I've got bad sinuses in general. I just have really narrow sinuses. I think it's called I don't remember the name. Deviated septum? I think it might be a deviated septum, but I don't know. I've never gotten it like professionally fixed. So when I get sick and I get congested, I'm really congested. It's super hard to breathe. And so it's super, super hard to sleep because I already can't breathe in my nose on some good days. So when I'm really congested, my ears are plugged. I have like a pressure headache. I'm just a mess. So I was having multiple nights in a row where I'd sleep between 2 and 4 hours at a time, and then I'd be up for hours just trying to fall asleep. It was brutal. Well, after days of almost no sleep, feeling miserable, where I'd gotten sicker and sicker to the point where I couldn't keep food down anymore. I had no appetite. I couldn't eat. I had gotten 1/2 of an apple in me in 30 to 32 hours by this point. It is just past noon. The tiredness is hitting me and I'm like, I can go have a nap. I don't care how long I sleep. I don't care what time it is. I just really desperately need some sleep. I lay down in bed. My nose is actually kind of clear on the right side. I'm starting to drift off. And then I hear a really loud alarm go off on my phone and it wakes me up. And I was like, are you kidding me? I thought it was an Amber Alert at first because it was the same noise you get as when you get an Amber Alert. So I just reflexively hit the OK button, of course, because I can't help with that from my house. And so I'm about to go back to sleep and I get another message. I get a text from my mom. And she said, hey, did you get a tornado warning too? And I was like, what? I double checked my weather app. There's a severe red tornado warning. I haven't had a tornado warning in, I don't know, like 12 years or something. They don't really happen here in Southern Ontario, Canada. We get high winds, we get crazy storms, we get a lot of freak weather. We don't get tornadoes. In my whole life, I only remember one tornado warning before this. It was when I lived in Hamilton. I don't remember if I was in my late teens or my early 20s, but I do distinctly remember the tornado warning, having to gather the cats and go to the basement. Thankfully, the tornado didn't hit our place, but there was wind damage in a lot of places. So I just have to spring into action because there's a severe tornado warning, and I could lose my home, and I needed to round up the cats and make sure I have like the basement ready to go where I can easily put them in the basement and close in myself and make sure we got some food down there, some water down there, you know, some blankets and stuff so I can lay down if I need to. Just the safest place in the house, you know, the basement. So I scooped the cats, and thankfully one was already asleep on the couch, and then Sabu was upstairs with me trying to sleep on the bed, so I scoop him up and I put him on the couch, and he's thrilled because I put him next to Rocky. So they just curl up and go to sleep. They don't know that a tornado might be coming, and I'm literally just eating another half of an apple, sitting in my kitchen looking out the window. I've got the basement prepared, and I'm just waiting to see, will the storm miss me, or is this really going to be a tornado hitting us and I need to scoop the boys and run to the basement? It took an hour before we were in the clear. It did not get us. There was a tornado, but it formed over the lake. I think it was over Lake Ontario. It might have been Huron. I'm not sure. I was awake for like 32 hours at this point. I was not all there dealing with all of this. But apparently the tornado formed over the lake, and thankfully, as far as I'm aware, it didn't do like any really serious damage to anyone's homes or anything, but I don't know for sure. But all I know is once I finally got the clear from the weather report saying that I'm only going to get heavy thunderstorms, and yes, that is all I ended up getting was very heavy thunderstorms, which whatever, who cares. As soon as that happened, I got right in bed, and I was able to sleep like 2 hours. So, that was crazy. I'm gonna try and get this edit done now. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day. I can't believe I made it through this voiceover. My voice is dying. Wait, it's been 10 minutes. Oh, I feel so much worse now as soon as I stopped. It's been 10 minutes, and I was just about to close my audio software. I was just like saving it and everything, and I noticed, oh crap, I still have the Patreon shoutout page open, and I forgot to do the Patreon shoutouts. Oh man, I actually for real almost forgot. Thank you so much for the $50 supporter shoutout here. Jacob Busby, Javid Kusro, Grayson Fitz, Tara Louise, Dark Soul, Young Smoky VP, Gabriel Thornton, Hernandez Pudgnick, and the -1 for your continued support. You're the reason I can afford cold medicine.